Hello, everybody. It's your Congressman Jamie Raskin coming at you. Hello to all my friends in Maryland's beautiful 8th Congressional District. It's my favorite time of the week. We are recording on Friday, December 2nd. We're coming to you with a magnificent local hero, Frederick County Councilman at Large, my friend Kai Hagen. And Kai has been on the county council since 2018. He'd actually served before on the Board of County Commissioners between 2006 and 2010. He is a local boy like me. He grew up in Washington, D.C. Mostly. He left the area to attend St. Olaf's College in Minnesota and came back east after a dozen years there and 8 more spent in California, where he became a great environmental activist and an author. He wrote a natural history guide to Minnesota, but he really discovered himself as a person with a public passion and a public voice. When he got back to Frederick County, he got involved deeply in the community, volunteering with lots of local groups and boards and commissions, and coached soccer and basketball, wrote columns for the Frederick News Post and Gazette, hosted a local radio show, which I appeared on the very first time I appeared on Frederick County media. He's been director of Envision Frederick County, the nonprofit founded on the principle that public discourse and active engagement are necessary to our well-being and prosperity. Kai and his wife, Kirsten, have 2 sons, Tor and Leaf, 27 and 22. He's our local hero for everything he's done for a community, all the people he's gotten involved, all the wonderful events he's sponsored, and all the service he's rendered as a public official. So, Kai Hagen, congratulations on being our local hero.
Thank you very much, Jamie. I really appreciate it, and I'm proud to call you my friend and my congressman. And I'm disappointed. We're very happy that David Trone has won re-election, but with the change in the lines, I will no longer be living in your district. And we're glad you're in Congress and all the amazing, incredible work that you do. But it's kind of a little bit sad that even though that'll still be true, I won't be able to claim you as my congressman.
Ethically and morally, I'm always there for you. And my door is always open for you, along with all my other friends and constituents in Frederick County and Carroll County. But having said all of that, let's come to you. Tell me, first of all, about your time on the county council. I know you pushed a lot of really cutting-edge environmental stuff, but what is it that you will want us to remember as your key legacies?
Well, I was just thinking about that a little bit today because I was cleaning out my office. And, you sit there and a little bit of melancholy. You stand there and look and take a picture of a now bare or empty office. And I thought about the 8 years I spent, 4 on the council and 4 on the Board of County Commissioners, and sort of, felt that, I have a few regrets here and there, things you wish you'd done a little differently or that had happened differently. But for the most part, just a tremendous sense of pride about a lot of the things that we did accomplish during those 2 terms. A lot around land use and planning and the environment. I mean, Frederick is a rapidly changing county. It's one of the fastest growing in the state. It's the largest landmass. It has tremendous natural resources, tremendous agricultural productivity and diversity over much of its landscape. The Catoctin Mountains, the Monocacy River, Sugarloaf, and the Potomac, and other natural resources to protect. And I think we've done overall in this county over the last number of years a lot to really substantially protect that while trying to manage the growth. It's an up and down, push and pull, back and forth sort of thing that doesn't always go right, and some mistakes have been made. But I think we're in a really good position to maintain Frederick as a wonderful, thriving, prospering community that has somehow managed, in the face of continuing growth and change on the cusp of this large and growing metropolitan area, to preserve our natural resources and our agricultural landscape and our rural communities. And so a lot of the pieces that I'm really most proud of relate to that. I mean, there's a lot of other things, that are critical, as you know. I mean, funding education, dealing with affordable housing and basic public services and transit and all the simple infrastructure things that a lot of people don't think about that much, that aren't even that simple, like, waste management and everything. But on those other points, we have passed. We had the 2010 comprehensive plan that was really a big step forward in Frederick County, certainly, and in the state. And the beginning of this council, we passed a newer, a bigger, better, more forward-looking, more creative and innovative version of a comprehensive plan called Livable Frederick, which I know you're
Yes.
a little somewhat familiar with. And
Well, and I want to ask
that's
you,
a very big thing.
yeah, I think of you as someone who has very much mentored and taught young people. I know you coach young people. You're committed to education. Tell me what you think Frederick is saying to young people today, growing up in Frederick, and future generations, about making Frederick their home. Because lots of times people, they grow up, they graduate from high school or college or whatever, and then they want to go to a big city or something like that.
All right, well, people are going to move out, people are going to move in, jobs and schools and relationships and everything push and pull people all over the country. But I think Frederick is a remarkably desirable place to live, and young people growing up here are not going to leave because they can't find good opportunities, because the economy isn't diverse, because we're not a tolerant, diverse community. There's a vibrant arts community and music scene where it's an increasingly diverse community. The part of what's happened with the growth and the changes that Frederick County has become very much more diverse, and I think that's been a tremendous benefit to the community, to the county. And so I think we've done a great job of preserving our history, but still being a modern 21st century economy with a lot of the kind of amenities that young people are looking for. I think we're going to be challenges around things like, can the average young person afford to live here as the community becomes more and more desirable and expensive. But that's going to be one of the challenges. But I think as a quality place to live, and of course, I know a lot of young people today don't even want to own a car, never have, and we need to work on that in our land use planning, walkability, public transit, make sure that that's the kind of mixed use communities. Sorry, cats jumping up on my lap here. So one of our two sons lives here. By the way, they're 30 and 25. I probably should update whatever you saw that had 27 and 22. They keep getting older, and that information is changing. But one of them lives here. The other one lives in Chicago, and we're hoping that he also comes back here, because we know he loves the place. It's just got to work out for him.
Well, and a lot of young people tell me it's an incredibly desirable and obviously a beautiful place to live. Frederick County is extraordinary. The commanding passion of your career, as I see it, I don't know if this relates to your internal subjective sensibility, is the environment. And you demonstrate profound ecological consciousness in everything that you do, and you want us to think holistically about the development of our communities, the development of ourselves. And I wonder if you would reflect for a moment on what it's like to have a holistic ecological philosophy, and to be so passionately concerned about climate change and trying to address it, at the same time that you're working as an everyday local politician dealing with public education and transportation and basic public services. And how have you been able to walk that tightrope between those two competing?
No, that's a really, really good question, and it's something I'd love to have for a college class or a graduate program, because there's so much to say about it. The brief version, though, is that I wasn't involved in broader public policy across this full spectrum of things that an elected official has to deal with. Initially, I was working on environmental issues, but through working on environmental issues and being a naturalist and everything else, the more you learn, the more you realize and appreciate how much everything is connected. And that isn't just sort of a convenient poetic metaphor or analogy for our real life. It is the way things work. And there's a lot of lessons for how they work best, and we've seen that in a lot of lessons we've learned about the way we've dealt with the environment itself and our own decisions. Big problems often call for many small solutions. And you look at the interconnectedness and the diversity of nature and all the other things that we could talk about as elements in how you make those connections. But the key point is government, like all the rest of our society in too many ways, puts things in separate silos. Transit, we're going to deal with here, education here. And if you think about shaping a community, especially a community that's growing, where the opportunity to make decisions that are going to have lasting effects, not just into the future, but on everything else because of those connections, I think you approach some of those things differently. You evaluate your options differently. You take a more innovative approach and get out of that kind of this is how we've always done things way of thinking about things. And in a rapidly changing world where we're really kind of coming to understand a lot of that stuff, we're not under a bubble here. We're not an island. Everything is connected. And I think in a way that only a longer conversation could really dive into well, when you really understand that and you don't separate these things into silos, you're going to make better, smarter decisions.
Yeah. Well, look, we don't have time for that conversation now.
I know.
Kai Hagen, you are a big thinker and you are a visionary public actor and intellectual, and we're so grateful to you for your remarkable service rendered to the people of Frederick County, everybody in the 8th District, and I cherish your friendship and your leadership, and I want to thank you for everything you've done for all of us. You are our local hero for this week of December the 2nd.
Well, I'm honored and I appreciate it tremendously. And please allow me to take a few seconds to say that you are my hero and a hero to so many of us who appreciate not only your intellect, but your moral capacity and your depth of thinking and your commitment to honesty and integrity. I could give anything to have a Congress that looked a lot more like that.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Very sweet, man. And I'm glad you didn't go any further. I would have had to cut you off, but you are our local hero. The focus is on you, dear man, and everybody celebrate Kai Hagen as our local hero this week. Thanks so much.